Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining our webinar for pharmacies and hospitals. Today's webinar includes information about the Windsor framework and its impact on FMD in Ireland, details on some current issues, and information on the support that's available from IMVO. I'll pass you to my colleagues Leonie and Colin, who will be presenting today.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Leonie Clark. I'm the Chief Executive here in IMVO. And just to, Sarah's already outlined what we're going to cover today, so we'll move on to the first topic, which is the Windsor framework. So what we want to do for the next couple of slides is just to give you a bit of background to the Windsor framework. And in order to explain why the Windsor framework is important from an F&D perspective in Ireland, we actually need to go back as far as when Brexit happened back in 2020. So just to refresh your memory of Brexit, the UK left the EU on the 31st of January 2020, and EU law then continued to apply in the UK during the transitionary period until the end of 2020. Part of the Brexit agreement was the Northern Ireland Protocol, which aimed to avoid a hard border in Ireland. And as a result of that protocol, Northern Ireland remained in the EU's regulatory system for medicines after the 31st of December 2020. So from an FMD perspective, what all of this meant was that FMD was discontinued in Great Britain, so meaning England, Scotland and Wales at the end of 2020. And all the GB end users, so that's the pharmacists, the hospitals and the wholesalers who used the UK system, they were disconnected at that time. FMD remained mandatory in Northern Ireland, and the UK NMBS, or National Medicine Verification System, became known as the UK NI NMBS. Data upload by manufacturers to the UK system, UK NI system, was optional for packs intended for sale in Great Britain, but mandatory for packs intended for sale in Northern Ireland. And in practice, most companies continue to upload data for packs sold throughout the UK, largely because they were selling packs on a UK basis and not doing specific NI or Northern Ireland packs. So the net result is, since Brexit, we have had data from the vast majority of UK packs available in the UK NI system. The advantage of that was that UK packs then finding their way into EU markets, and the example here in Ireland would be UK packs that come in as in exempt medicinal products or unlicensed medicines or ULMs to meet shortages. They could still be decommissioned when scanned here via what we call intermarket transactions against the UK system. So you scan the pack here, doesn't find it here, it goes looking for it in the broader European Medicine Verification System, finds it in the UK NI system, and then can decommission it or verify it, whatever. So basically it was business as usual with the UK packs because of the fact that the data was available in the UK NI system since the end of 2020. We then had the Windsor framework agreed in March 23, and it's a post-Brexit legal agreement between the EU and the UK, which adjusts the operation of the Northern Ireland protocols in several areas, including medicines. And the objective of this framework was to ensure that people in Northern Ireland have access to all medicines at the same time and under the same conditions as the rest of the UK. It's due to take effect on the 1st of January 2025. Now, that date is hardwired into the Windsor framework. It's one that we've had no control over. It was agreed by politicians at a UK and EU level. It is subject to the UK providing the EU with certain written guarantees that they will comply with the Windsor framework requirements by that date. And in fact, we're expecting that those written guarantees are going to be given very shortly. And that date will then be confirmed. So for now, we're working off the 1st of January 25 being the effective date of the Windsor framework, and we don't see any risk around that at the moment. I suppose, coming back to the point I made in the previous slide, the Windsor framework is relevant to Ireland due to our traditional links to the UK in terms of having joint EU-UK packs, and also then the UK-only packs sourced as ULMs to address shortages here. So in terms of the UK, what is the impact of the Windsor framework? And the reason we're presenting this is because that's relevant to what will happen with UK packs here in Ireland after the Windsor framework comes into play. FMD is going to be discontinued in Northern Ireland. The UK NI system will be disconnected from the broader European Medicines Verification System. High-end users will be disconnected from the UK NI system. So even if they wanted to scan and decommission packs, there's going to be no system available to them and they'll have no connection that allows them to do that. And this is the most important piece from our perspective. All the data in that system, including backups, is going to be permanently and irretrievably erased. And I'll explain in a moment or two what that means in practice here in Ireland. So looking at then packs placed on the UK market post-Windsor framework. So there's various rules set out in the Windsor framework about these packs. So they have to be labelled UK only. Then on the question of safety features, so safety features being the FMD barcode and the anti-tamper device that's required by the EU Falsified Medicines Directive. MHRA, which is the UK equivalent of HPRA, they've issued guidance on the labelling and packaging of medicinal products for human use following the Windsor framework. And it says the following about safety features. UK licensed packs must not carry EU FMD safety features. So I suppose we saw that first. We said, okay, well, that'll leave the UK packs pretty simple here in Ireland after the Windsor framework because they won't have any barcodes. But as time has moved on, which has been clarified, that's not quite the case. What's now been said is that the UK packs can have a barcode, but it can't be one that would be recognised in the EU repository system. And any such system that would be recognised by the EU system would need to be fully recovered or removed. What's going to happen in practice is there's going to be 2D barcodes on UK packs. They will be possible so long as they're not recognised in the EU system. And because the EU in the NI database has been completely deleted, there's no capability, even if you scanned the UK pack with the barcode, to identify or recognise that pack. So companies are also encouraged to continue using anti-tampering packaging, and any stock and existing packaging already placed in the market in the UK pre-Windsor framework may be supplied until expiry date. So that will include all the packs that are there already that had 2D barcodes on them that would have had data uploaded to the European system. MHRA has provided some guidance on what this UK-only label would look like. And I suppose one of the reasons we're interested in this was we initially thought, okay, well, this might be a useful way for pharmacies to be aware of what packs specifically are UK only. The difficulty with this is that there's a few issues. First of all, the UK only can be printed anywhere in the pack, including on the human readable barcode data panels. You can see that's quite small. And also the text size requirements are quite small. So even though the Windsor framework says that the text must be conspicuous and clearly legible, MHRA has specified a font size requirement of 7 point, which the little UK only in red there, that's the size. So it's pretty small. And as per the previous slide, because existing UK packs which don't carry this UK only label will be allowed to circulate until their expiry date, it could be quite some time before we start to see some of these UK only packs, UK only labelled packs appearing in Ireland, and that many of the UK packs that you receive as ULMs for months and potentially a couple of years to come could still not carry UK only. So that's something that's not going to be particularly helpful in helping to work out which are these packs that are impacted by the Windsor framework. One question is been asked in many areas is, will in UK medicines, falsified medicine system be introduced? And the reason why this is of interest, again, it goes back to the question of, are we likely to continue to see 2D barcodes on packs in the UK? You know, what's going to happen in the UK when FMD is discontinued? And I suppose on that latter point, when FMD is discontinued, the UK will not have any sort of a medicines verification system. And really, they're standing out in Europe and not having that. There's medicines verification systems in the US, in Russia, in most major countries and regions now have medicines verification systems. So the UK is definitely going to be exposed potentially to a risk of having more fake medicines coming into the market because it doesn't have any type of verification system. A 2021 Act in the UK does provide the legal basis for setting up a system, a medicines verification system like the EU one. But at the moment, the position of the MHRA as stated in the Windsor Framework Q&A document is they're considering all options for a national system, including a do-nothing option, and they will consult with industry. That would mean broader industry, including pharmacies as well as pharma companies. Notwithstanding the lack of clarity on a future UK falsified medicine system, we understand from talking to individual manufacturers that many of them plan to avail of the option to continue to apply 2D barcodes and anti-tampering devices to packs released to the UK after the 1st of January. From an FMD perspective, this obviously has implications for packs brought into Ireland, the ULMs after the 1st of January, because they will still have barcodes on them and are likely to have for some time to come. So looking then to the Irish side of things, having established what's going to happen in the UK. So first of all, just to say FMD still applies in the EU post-Windsor framework, and your basic FMD obligations for pharmacies, hospitals, wholesalers, manufacturers, everyone are unchanged by the Windsor framework coming into play. There are going to be some changes in terms of joint IE UK packs. Up until now, there's been quite a heavy reliance on joint packs with the UK to serve as both markets. The key impact of the Windsor framework is these joint packs may no longer be released to either the Irish or the UK markets after the Windsor framework takes effect. So over time, you will start to see the existing stocks dwindle, and you will no longer see joint packs with the UK. And this is true of joint packs between the UK and any other EU markets. In the case of the packs that have already been released to the market prior to the 1st of January 25, that means batch release, so they may not actually physically be here, but so long as they're batch released before the 1st of January 25, these can remain in circulation until their expiry date. And from an FMD perspective, we don't anticipate any problems when these packs are scanned from the 1st of January, because the data is uploaded for a joint pack to all the markets where the pack is sold. So if it's a joint Ireland-UK pack, the data goes to Ireland and the UK system. If it's a joint Ireland-UK Malta, it goes to Ireland, UK and the Maltese system. So these will scan fine. The only problems could arise would be things like your scanner isn't working or the software, but in general terms, we would expect these to scan. Where the Windsor framework will have effect is on the UK single market packs in circulation in Ireland. So these are UK only packs brought into Ireland as EMPs or ULMs. And there will be FMD issues where these carry barcodes when they're scanned. The option of verifying and decommissioning these packs via IMTs against the UKNI system is gone, because that system is gone. The data in it is all gone. And from the 1st of January 25, every UK pack with the 2D barcode that is scanned in Ireland will generate an exception or alert. And this will be true in every other EU country. And that's a significant change, because we know at the moment the vast majority of UK packs that come in here and that are scanned fine, because the data can be fine. Now, we have been issuing advice since the middle of 2022 with the agreement of the HPRA that ULMs don't need to be scanned, but we do know from the activity that's going on in the UK system that substantial numbers of UK packs are scanned in Ireland at the moment. And as I said, they scan fine, but just to reiterate, they will not scan fine after the 1st of January 25 because of the fact that the UK system is gone. So just to show you, there will be different types of responses if UK single market packs are scanned in Ireland after the 1st of January 25. And these depend on whether or not the product code and the batch ID is known to the EMVS or not. You will get, there's a new exception has been generated, market not available exception, which will basically tell you that the product code is unknown locally. Intermarket communication error, do not retry. You might get a batch A2 batch not found alert, depending again on when data has or hasn't been uploaded previously to the EMVS. And if the product is known at all to the EMVS, you get a product code unknown exception. And that's one thing we anticipate. Some of the UK packs at the moment, the data has been uploaded for those packs to the EMVS. So the system will recognize the product code, but the UK manufacturers plan to change the product code and have a special new post-Windsor framework product code. So that could happen. The other thing we think may happen is the 2D barcode. So it'll look like a 2D barcode, but it won't have a serial number in it. And sometimes your FMD software will pick that up and simply won't send a scan to the IMVS. So the software that sits in your pharmacy computer is not the IMVS. It talks to the IMVS, and it can be configured not to send an incomplete scan to the IMVS. Some of the software will send the data, notwithstanding that the serial number can't be found. And in that situation, then the national system, the IMVS, will send you back the information that it's not correct. There's incomplete data. The other piece to flag to you is, at the moment, if you scan a UK pack, and if that pack has been recalled or withdrawn since it left the UK, then the system will actually tell you this. Similarly, if the pack has expired, the system will display a message on screen. And we know that's quite a useful functionality for pharmacies. Is just a final reminder that a pack, for example, has expired. Because the UK system is gone, there's no data and there's no pack data in it, there's no information on the pack state available anymore. So you definitely won't see if it's recalled or withdrawn. Most pharmacy software systems won't pick up that the pack is expired. There's one or two that will, so just watch out for that as well. Now, keep in mind, if there's a recall or withdrawal of a pack, there are, as with all recalls and withdrawals, there are notification systems. So if it's recalled in the UK, there should be some sort of an arrangement in the UK for wholesalers to be notified of the recall and for them to notify anyone they've sold the packs to in EU markets, but the system itself won't give you that information back. So in terms of preparing for all of this, we have worked really closely with the Department of Health, the HPRA, the PSI, and colleagues in other national medicines verification organisations and the European Medicines Verification Organisation, EMVO, over the last 18 months to assess and mitigate the FMD risks of the Windsor framework. And for example, the slide that you've seen on the table on the previous slide, that has been modified and tweaked on a number of occasions as our knowledge has evolved of what's going to happen. Some of the issues identified, we have been able to resolve them via changes to the MVS. So we had an update to the Irish Medicines Verification System last week, which included the final round of changes. But the one thing we can't do is prevent UK packs from generating alerts when scanned from the 1st of January 25 onwards. So it's just not possible to stop that. And again, it goes back to the fact there's no data available and the system has to return some sort of a message to tell you that. Communications are underway to explain the FMD impacts of the Windsor framework to pharmacies, hospitals, wholesalers, manufacturers, and marketing authorization holders. So MAHs, so these are the people who hold the marketing authorizations for all the products in Ireland, and then what to do to minimise problems. And we'll give you the advice in a moment on what to do from a pharmacy perspective. The HPRA has published a Q&A in the Windsor framework to assist manufacturers, MAHs and wholesalers, and if by any chance you have a wholesaler's authorisation, we suggest you have a look at that as well. And then on our side, we're planning for extra support calls and emails to the IMBO service desk at the beginning of January, and we'll give you some more information about that in the opening hours in a moment. So here's what to do to avoid FMD issues with UK packs from the 1st of January 25. The only thing you can do to avoid an exception alert with these packs is not to scan them. So just to be clear, this has been the advice with these packs since May 22. So the advice at the moment is not to scan ULMs. We do know they are being scanned. We do know they've been scanned in very large numbers. If you keep doing that with UK packs, you're going to have alerts or exceptions. So the only way you can avoid those alerts or exceptions is not to scan the UK packs. If you do happen to scan a UK pack inadvertently, you'll get an amber or red alert or exception message in your FMD software as per previous slide. Notwithstanding this, and this is the key piece of advice, you may supply the pack unless you've overriding concerns that a falsified medicine is involved or believe that the pack has been interfered with or the pack has expired. So again, just reminding your FMD software may not flag that the pack has expired because of the UK system having been disconnected. So the first bullet point there, that's the current advice about scanning unlicensed medicines. If you scan them and if you get an alert, you look at the pack, you examine it, you look at the anti-tamper device, you make sure there's nothing is triggering any bells with you. You know, you've satisfied yourself that you got it from a legitimate source and so on. Just to remind you, always check the anti-tampering device on the pack if there is one. Some UK manufacturers could choose to take them off after the Windsor framework. I don't think that realistically that's unlikely. If you have any reason to believe that the pack has been interfered with, please report it to the HPRA as a product quality defect and do not supply the pack. And we've given you the HPRA email address there to report this. So this advice has been agreed with the HPRA, the PSI and the Department of Health. We'll be closely monitoring any transactions that take place in UK packs, and we will be following up if we see anything untoward. We see patterns that suggest something that needs to be investigated that might raise some flags about falsification, and we will involve the HPRA if needed. But from your own perspective, the key message to get across to your teams is don't scan these packs if at all possible. And if you do scan them, look at them very closely and satisfy yourself that there's nothing bothering you, that you have no suspicion that they're falsified before you supply them. Okay, so just some useful resources and support around the Windsor framework. Our service desk is open every day except Christmas Day. We have a dedicated page on our website, including FAQs. We've given you the link to that there, and that's accessible from the homepage on our website, imbo.ie. We're planning further webinars for, obviously we're doing one now and there's another one on the 19th. We would encourage your staff to attend if they haven't already. We have a registration link available on our website. Now, if they can't attend the one on the 19th, the slides and the webinar recordings are available to download via the above link. I'm also going to be presenting at the IIOP in conversation with series on Wednesday, the 27th of November. So that'll be a slightly longer presentation, and I'll just talk about trends and falsification, various other things as well. And if we detect that there's demand from pharmacies and hospitals, we will run a mock-up webinar in December. But as I say, all the content is available on our website anyway. Articles are available in the November editions of the pharmacy publications. There's a link to the IP review article, and I think the Irish Pharmacist article has also just landed. So you can have a look at that as well. They cover the same ground. We'll also be sending A5 cards out to every pharmacy and hospital in early December. So again, it'll just reiterate the advice that I gave a slide or two back there, and you can have those available in your dispensaries for your teams. And also in hospitals, obviously, there will be labs and stores that have FMD scanning locations. They'll also receive them. And then finally, I've already mentioned the HPRA Q&A, just reminded that's there as well if you are involved in any wholesaling operations. So I'm going to hand over now to Colin McNamee, who will take you through the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Leonie. Good afternoon, everybody. Colin is my name. I'm the operations manager with IMVO, and I'm just going to take this opportunity very quickly to talk you through a number of current issues that we see impacting community pharmacies and hospitals from an FMD point of view. So the first one is to ensure that your dispensary team are always in the correct scanning mode. So the two most popular are obviously the verification mode, if you want to check the state of a pack, and then decommissioning, where you can go into the decommission mode to supply, destroy, sample, etc. So again, most commonly within community pharmacy, you would be in decommissioning mode to dispense or supply. Very important just to check that you are in that mode when you are dispensing. Sometimes we can see a pharmacy that could be scanning all day, but actually has stayed in verification mode, and as a result has not decommissioned any of the packs that have been dispensed to patients. So just important to check that you are in the right scanning mode on your FMD software. Borrowings, again, we do see quite a few alerts generated as a result of borrowings, and we know borrowings take place in order to ensure that you can meet your patient's needs. But if you are borrowing a pack, if you're borrowing a pack from another pharmacy, just ask them, could this pack be decommissioned already? Because if it has been decommissioned already and you scan it a second time to decommission it to supply, it is going to generate an alert because it has already been decommissioned in a different location. If you borrowed from a hospital, because of how hospitals handle packs from an FMD point of view, it will almost certainly be in a decommissioned state when you borrow it. So again, just confirm. If you're not in a position to confirm with the location that you've borrowed the pack from, you can just do a verification scan, and that will allow you establish the state of the pack. Estremon and Nutrigestion, there are two packs. So Estremon, there are 4 batches currently in the market at the moment. They're unlicensed medicine coming from Germany in order to meet a HRT shortage. Those 4 batches were decommissioned as sample in error by the manufacturer before they came to the country. As Leonie has outlined around the handling of UK packs, unlicensed medicines don't have to be scanned. If you scan one of those 4 batches of Estremon, it will generate an alert in your dispensary. So we would recommend you would go by the guidance that we provide with regard to the handling of unlicensed medicines or EMPs, and don't scan those packs. Similarly, there's a new batch of Nutrigestion coming into the market, and again, that batch has been decommissioned prior to import to Ireland. So if you scan that particular batch to supply or dispense it, it will cause an alert. Just to give you an understanding of the impact of that, so in July, before these batches came into the market, 60% of pharmacies got no alerts at all. During that month, 90% of pharmacies had no more than one a fortnight. Move forward to last month, and you can see there 40% of pharmacies now got 1 alert, and 80% or 90% of pharmacies were getting 2 a week. So and that huge increase in the amount of alerts generated in community pharmacies in particular is as a result of scanning of those 4 batches of estromon and that batch of Eutrogestin. Just finally, you're probably aware that there has been a lot of talk around falsification of Ozempic. There was falsified Ozempic identified in the legitimate supply chain in wholesalers in Austria, Germany, and the UK late in 2023. And essentially what happened was a pack which had been dispensed to a pharmacy and properly decommissioned by that pharmacy in Germany in earlier 2023. The packaging was taken, multiple copies of the packaging were made, very good copies in terms of how they looked. Those packs were filled not with Ozempic, but with insulin injections, and then they entered the legitimate supply chain and were identified in wholesalers. When somebody tried to scan one of those packs, it gives essentially exactly the same type of alert message that I've been talking about around borrowed packs. It says that this pack has already been decommissioned to supply or dispense at another location. With regard to handling particularly these type of alerts, because they are the ones that we know carry a huge degree of risk, if you don't know that this is as a result of a borrowed pack and you can't confirm that from the location you borrowed it from, the likelihood is that you will not have sufficient information to be able to draw any conclusions about the authenticity of the pack, and you need to contact us. And when you contact us using NMVS alerts or to our alert.support@invo.ie email, we will support you by attempting to run pack audit trails and attempting to establish the root cause and where this pack has been decommissioned already. And we will contact you and engage with you using NMVS alerts or via email. It is very important as a result that these packs get quarantined and you wait until you hear from us in order to allow that pack re-enter the supply chain. So speaking of support and contacting us, our support desk with telephone and email is available Monday to Friday, 8 to 8, Saturdays from 9 to 6, and Sunday and public holidays. And that public holidays will include the 1st of January in 2025, the first day of the impact of the Windsor framework, from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you want to contact us specifically about an alert, as I said, use NMVS alerts, our alert management system, or email alert.support@invo.ie. If you want more information, our website, invo.ie, there's a full set of FAQs, including now specific FAQs around the Windsor framework. Guidance videos and videos such as these webinars will be up on our YouTube channel. You can click the link that you see in front of you there to establish, is there a problem with the INVS? So if you're in your dispensary and you're having a scanning problem, you can just click on that link and see if the INVS in Ireland shows as green, then the problem is not with the INVS, and it may be a software or scanner problem at your community pharmacy or hospital location. And we're also very happy to set up bespoke support sessions for pharmacies by phone, by Zoom or Teams, and please do reach out and contact us if that's something that you think would benefit your team. We're also on LinkedIn and Twitter. You can get additional information from the PSI on their website, links are there, and also the HPRA, specifically around FMD and Brexit. So with that, I'm going to stop our recording and